welcome everybody. I am very pleased and I'm very grateful to University of North Carolina in Charlotte to welcome us for this symposium. And I also want to welcome, to thank the International STAR Conference. STAR is an amazing group which have been working together for 45 years, making that type of conference. I am now one of their new members, and they are extraordinary people. So I want to acknowledge. I also want to thank all the people who participate either online or are present in the room in Charlotte. So I am Gerard Meyer. I am a physiologist and a psychologist, and I am the CEO and co-founder of the Mental Wellness Society. I was the president of Carnegie Mellon Driver Training and Safety Institute at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. I have with me Dr. Lebovits from the Mental Wellness Society. He's co-founder and chairman. I have Professor Jerry Leisman, who is the chair of academic research of the Mental Wellness Society. He is a founder of the Mental Wellness Society, and he's a professor in IFA. He will explain you that. Dr. Lebovits will give you more explanation. And we have Salome Dombadzi, who is part of Mental Wellness Society. She's also part of Reswell, and she's representing the Georgian Institute of Public Affairs. No, it's not in Georgia, not too far from Carolina, but it is Georgia in Europe. So I'm very pleased to have her with us as well. Mrs. Giulia Loza Petrucci, with the Dragon Den in Pittsburgh. And the Dragon Den is a fantastic organization helping children to stay out of problems, with whom there is a very advanced program that have been implemented. With that said, I want to introduce to you Dr. Lebovits. He's a clinical psychologist. He has been a clinical psychologist in Pittsburgh for over 40 years, and his practice is with adult, children, family, and variety of settings. He has always the fun to say he's dealing with adolescents of all age. In addition, for over 20 years, Dr. Lebovits was on the faculty of the Department of Psychology at the University of Pittsburgh. He was training PhD candidate in child and family psychotherapy. Through his clinical work, he created a novel approach to understand the role of perception and response in human psychology. His method for engaging in therapeutic change have addressed the inertia of dead-end thinking that therapists so often encounter with their clients. And for full disclosure, he is my partner for many, many years. So with that, Dr. Lebovits, I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Again, thanks everyone for coming. I will be the moderator this morning for the presentations. So I will invite all of you to keep your questions until we finish all the presentations. And we're looking forward to an active and spirited discussion afterwards. We will start this morning with Dr. Meyer's presentation. And let me give a fuller introduction of Dr. Meyer. As he mentioned, he is a physiopsychologist and is the lead innovator in the development of education training programs for our entity called Mindfulness Coaching. He is the former president and CEO of the Carnegie Mellon Driver Training and Safety Institute. Dr. Meyer has investigated human response patterns. He has researched perception, memory, reasoning, and motor response. Dr. Meyer's research interests include mental workload, decision-making, skilled performance, human-computer interface, human reliability, work stress, and training. Based on his research, Dr. Meyer has developed a person-centered, person-in-the-loop approach and investigated all aspects of cognition as a means for optimizing well-being and system performance. So I will turn it back over to Dr. Meyer, and his presentation, I'm sure, will be excellent. Dr. Meyer.
Thank you. Thank you. So I am fortunate and grateful to all my partners and friends. I am involved in 6 organizations that you see on the screen. They all have a specific activity. They all have a specific involvement, but they are all involved in resilience. So on the left, you have 3 for-profit companies, PSI, which is doing publishing of psychology skill document on the programs, Mindful Choice, which is, we will explain you that in a few minutes, Mind Movement and Mood Center, which is in Lincoln, Nebraska. We have on the right column the Mental Wellness Society International. We have Reswell in participation with Tel Aviv University, and we have the Resilience World Foundation. All those organizations are working together, and I am the conductor of those activities. And they all have something in common. We all work on social emotional resilience, and we are using the icons that you see. There is 90 icons, which are all helping to communicate with the people, not just communicate, but communicate clearly, but also use in remediation for treatment and use for people for self-enhancement, progress. Mindful choice, which is about destination awareness and choice, is a social emotional resilience, SER, that might be something new for many people because it's the next stage of mindfulness. It fosters resilience and well-being. And as you can see, there is many different product or item, which goes from computer interactive program to flashcards on curriculum, on books. So as we speak about mindfulness, what's the difference? There is a big difference between mindfulness and social emotional resilience. One of them is in mindfulness, you have awareness, you are not judgmental, and you focus on directing attention to be there and now through practice like meditation, breathing exercise, mindful movement. Social emotional resilience, the key components are self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship skill, and you are responsible for decision-making. It is a system to make a decision, the best decision, optimal decision, and it is based on a binary system, because a binary system, human can remember in their head. More than 2, it triggers it in hesitation and difficulties. So don't worry, the PowerPoint will be printed, will be accessible, and everything we have here will be on video. And also, the focus is different between mindfulness and social emotional resilience. So the social emotional resilience involves a broader range of skills aimed at managing social interaction, emotional challenge. In fact, everything we do is to help people to function better, even if they had a condition. And that's the way we move out of the problem, because we don't deal with the problem. We are solution-oriented. We are backward design. So we do also program for educational training for children and youth, young people in social emotional resilience. And we train also their educators. And Julia will speak more about that now. But it is a field of training, which is social emotional resilience, which is in fact helping for lifelong learning how to deal with yourself and to deal with others, and also to deal in moments of difficulty. One of our organization is a Mental Wellness Society. We created that immediately when there was a COVID. COVID started first week. We created the Mental Wellness Society because we knew the world will not be the same. Today, there is now close to 400,000 active members. In terms of LinkedIn, because we consider we have at this point 35,000 members who joined us. The other one come and go. But we have close to 2 million views per month for what the members are posting on our social media. The Mental Wellness Society is active as a humanitarian organization. When there was COVID, we help to prevent idealization of suicide and burnout from first responder and MDs. By the way, MDs is the first professional category to commit suicide in America, the biggest one. Then came the war in Ukraine, where we were involved training psychologists in Ukraine to our method to prevent PTSD and trauma. And then now in Israel, we are involved with a task force in Israel. We help anywhere there is a problem. In Israel, we have a lot of the population going to the front, and they don't know when they come back if they will have a home, because when they come back, they have a kind of PTSD or combat stress, and the wives have a lot of problems. So we expect something like 200,000 PTSD coming in the coming months, and at least in the coming month, 5,000 divorce. So we help to help, and we develop different in association with the Ministry of Health. We are helping to absorb that quantity of treatment, which means new technology, new protocol, new ways, training new people that we call Sherpa to help them. So we are talking here about stress. On stress, there is Dr. Leisman will tell you that better than me. There is positive, negative stress, but stress has a toll. And anything you do with stress relates to hormone. And hormone relates to your mood or how you will perform. So everything we do in our system, we have a scientific model, and the model is totally based in between emotion and reason and delayed gratification. So I don't want to go in detail, but what is important in that model is the contribution it brings, which is building an attitude which will change a negative thought in a positive feeling. Because if you change the way you think, you can change the way you feel, the way you act. It's a backward design. We look first at what do we want to achieve. But that applies also in different fields. For example, this is applied in the industry of Six Sigma, and we look at avoiding, that's the model, avoiding inattention bypass and impulsivity bypass. So things could be because mistake can be because you are impulsive or inattentive. And that comes from the research in driving safety. So we are human, we are negatively wired, and yet there is solution if we learn a better way. So we have found scientifically that you end up where you look, and you don't look just with your eyes, you look with your cognition. And so you need to know where you look, and you need to look at positive outcome. So you need also to learn to let go, because if not, all what you don't let go will keep you where you are. So now we have TVE, which is a tunnel vision effect, and the TVE is a precursor if it continues to be a PTSD. And it's due to two important stimuli which are disturbing the people, but it is a physiological response to a psychological stress. So you see the little slice in red is what you only can see and perceive when you are in TV. And in fact, what we train people is not to enter in that. So what do? Well, we train, in fact, people to have, to learn about survival skill, but not to enter in survival mode. So we work on, to avoid TV, we work on the vagus nerve, and what we work is on the mammalian response, flight, fight, freeze, because it bypass the cognitive system. So vagus nerve is very important to come back to calm and to become an homeostatic rheostat of all our function. So we balance stress response, we control impulse control, we teach you stop, what you do does not work, stay calm, breathe, stay calm. So we work, it's a holistic approach. where the mind and the body, the health wellness, is very important. And an important element is to sleep. And we look at all the elements in your life, and that all of those elements have to have a positive outcome on your general life. So we have a center applying that in Lincoln, Nebraska, Mind, Movement, and Mood. And in Lincoln, we see 1,200 patients a month. And it applies exactly all our research. The head of that is Dr. Donkin, and we have been working together for 25 years together when we were at Carnegie Mellon together. So in that center, we do field validation. Scientific validation is the field of Dr. Leisman, but field validation is done there. And we found new technology, and the new technology we have are helping to prevent PTSD, burnout, stress, anxiety, obsession. We have also now an helmet, and the helmet is making a complete map and is made to map the brain, and at the same time to be able to be used for remediation. Now we have a foundation because we need for all that to raise money. We need to raise money for the program. We need to raise money to buy the equipment that we can sell for humanitarian activities. So we have a Resilience and Wellbeing Foundation, which is a not-for-profit organization. So resilience can be either organizational or individual. There is a little movie. If we have time, I will play it. If not, you will have it on the information you can access. Resilience is not to feel like a victim. In fact, resilience is to be able to rebound. So resilience is adaptation. It's not resistance. And that is very important. And how do you resist? By looking at the destination. In Israel, we have developed something preventing a lot of PTSD, a lot of trauma. We ask, what will you do differently than now when the war is over? And it takes a person to a different place and different feelings. The role of resilience is most of the people we have, then they have a trauma, they are distressed, whatever is a problem, particularly since COVID, they have an external locus of control. They feel that everything is imposed on them. So we bring them on an internal locus of control. And then they can decide their life, they can choose. And that is done through a binary system that we call red door, green door. So now we come to VUCA, and VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, which was created by the Academy of War in the United States. But the H came after COVID, because during COVID, everybody was in confinement and using the screen. And the VUCA with an H is something that we see after COVID, and we see that there is some type of PTSD all over the world. People cannot decide, people are tired, people are in difficult situations, and it's due to this VUCA. So now we know that it has a name and it has a definition. So we are working with the University of Tel Aviv. We have a Reswell. Reswell is a working group in 35 countries of researchers and academic on the subject of well-being and resilience. And we are in that group, the group working on applied on human, how can we help people to not be subject to problems due to VUCA. Our other friends are more in policy, development, and statistics. We have in the group the GIRA, which is a Global Institute for Resilience Advancement. And this is all what we have in the other group. We can make it available for corporate because we want to move what we are doing and to become something which become mainstream. So how it applies? Look, this is a questionnaire which has been developed, and that questionnaire has been developed to see how people are subject or not to VUCA, one by one. How do they score in volatility? How do they score in uncertainty? And the last one is health and wellness. This gives us a matrix, and from that matrix, we can see volatility, the question we had, physical effect, psychological effect, and then you can see here the effect on team, or for corporate. Team is you and your wife. Because if with your wife you have a situation of uncertainty, the situation will become volatility, and there will be a lot of the other elements. So we know all those things.
2 minutes, Dr. Meyer.
Thank you. So all those things are now very clearly identified with name, what it does, what are the symptoms, what are the effects on the card at the end as a remediation. So there is business application, and it has application because actually neuroscience can be applied to corporation to improve the bottom line and also the productivity. So there is a Maslow hierarchy of need, and we follow that hierarchy of need to get an engagement of the people, because everybody has a physiological need, safety need, social need, esteem need, self-actualization. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. If we have time later, we'll play the video. So, Dr. Lebovits, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Meyer. Thank you very much. Again, I want to remind all the participants, question and answers will be saved for the